Skip some scary videos for your own sanity, but these top 10 videos are something you need to see. Number 10. Basement flood. If this man had stepped to safety a moment later, he wouldn't have made it. Published in September of 2021 by Eyewitness News ABC 7NY. In the scary video, a young man is seen wading calmly across his flooded basement. The water is about to his shins. Just as he makes it to the stairs, the flood crashes through the outer wall in a terrifying rush, pushing everything to the back wall. All the furniture and other items in the basement crash against the supporting beams and bob around the rapidly rising water. The boy's mother and brother were trapped in the basement for a time as they had been trying to empty the water when things came crashing down. They were sure they were going to pass away and they called family to say their goodbyes. However, thankfully her husband and the boy seen here were able to help them escape. Though the process was arduous, the brother who was trapped struck a tile from the ceiling so he had room to breathe as the water rose rapidly, while his mother clung to a boiler on the other side of the basement and eventually escaped out a window. This narrow escape is a reminder of the quick and sudden dangers of flash floods. The mother, Janice, is quoted by the Daily Mail as saying, "We're definitely going to live differently, enjoying everything. Every day is precious. I'm just happy everyone is alright." Number 9. Ghostly. Who wants a ghost making a cameo in their video? Cross-posted on Reddit, this throwback shows Kylie encountering a ghost over a decade ago. Kylie is dancing in the video and pauses for a moment, which is when this mysterious guy creeps into frame over her shoulder. The guy moves into view and seems to be reaching for something before he pulls out of frame. Kylie turns around because she sees the figure on screen, but he's no longer there. The whole thing is very freaky. According to commenters, Kylie appeared on a podcast called Ghosted and spoke about this experience. A quote from Kylie in the description of the video says, "This was extremely scary to me, only because the ghost in this video looks so much like my ex Billy, who was in Iraq at the time this video was made. Is this a profile of a ghost? And is this ghost playing tricks on Kylie? I guess this mystery will remain unsolved." Number 8. Evil Ghost. This Jinn Ain't Playin'. Published by Deranged Sajib in May of 2021, this Arabian ghost hunter captures a jinn on camera. While inside an abandoned building, a creepy robed figure crosses the room and enters another, but part of its robe still trails behind. The cameraman approaches the robe but finds it's a discarded piece of clothing, and the jinn is nowhere in sight. Then a loud bang is heard. The jinn is later found in another room where he stands facing a corner while something on the ground sends smoke into the air. As the room gets smokier, a strange whisper is heard, and the robed jinn gets more and more obscure. Then suddenly he darts to the side. The cameraman runs after him, but in the haze, the jinn has vanished. Where to, though, we can only guess. As he seems to have reached a dead end, the cameraman finds the jinn again later sitting on a high ledge, and in another clip, he hears a horrifying scream coming from a separate building. He goes to investigate but finds nothing.
Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah.
The jinn is then seen in a fire. He is ascending from the flames, becoming angrier and angrier, so angry that he throws something at him.
لوين أقرب؟ لوين أقرب؟ وين؟ وين؟ أمير موت.
Things get weirder until the cameraman finds someone hanging upside down. How could he be hanging like this? It has to be paranormal. The jinn, standing still in the corner, starts laughing manically, and toward the end of the video, he starts to move.
أحمد بسم الله أحمد نزله
Did these two make it out alive? Even if they did, they will be scarred for life. Number 7, light it up. Knock knock, don't answer. This is just one more in a creepy line of doorbell videos. This one perpetrated by a woman in a dressing gown carrying a lighter. While under the influence, a Liverpool woman approached a home where she was caught on a doorbell camera, holding a flame up before she then went and lit a trash can on fire. The trash can produced toxic fumes in a home that was up for sale. No one was living there at the time. While we could theorize why she did it, apparently she doesn't even know. The perpetrator pled guilty to arson and was sentenced to 27 months behind bars. Number 6, haunted restaurant. Order up. These restaurant workers certainly didn't order a haunting with a side of poltergeist. Published by Lady Boss in April of 2020, this compilation examines a strange sequence of events at a haunted restaurant as Lady Boss attempts to communicate with the ghost or ghosts that are said to haunt this place. Footsteps are heard in another room.
Ghostman, are you here right now?
Later, as she talks through a spirit box, the ghost says, "Here is all I'm doing." When asking if the spirit passed away in a car incident, what sounds like a car horn beeps through the speakers, and the spirit says yes.
There's a horn honking.
Later in the kitchen, security cameras capture things moving mysteriously on their own. While one cook is chopping parsley, a metal container nearby shifts to the left. At a later date, one of the chefs places a set of tongs down on the counter, and a moment later it spins round, falling to the floor. On another occasion, a chef is in the kitchen on his own. When he goes to the back door which leads outside, he looks around but nothing is there. But upon closer inspection, you can see movement in the crack of the doorway. Lots of strange things continue to happen. A metal container moves across the prep table on its own, and later a pot lid moves by itself, startling the cook who is standing nearby. There's definitely something in this restaurant, but what it is anyone's guess. Number 5, let me in. Someone's trying to get inside. Posted on the r/ghosts subreddit by throwaway615618, the redditor writes, "The door handle to our deck jiggled by itself last night. Security camera footage shows the event in question. The girl and her cat seem to hear the sound of the jiggling handle as they both look up at about the same time. On closer inspection, the door's handle is seen moving up and down. The redditor said she noticed it in other footage earlier that night as well, and the strange thing is that she leads ghost tours. Did a ghost follow her home, or is some creeper trying to get inside?" Redditor Lil B1190 tries to calm everyone, writing, "Don't worry, the ghost can't even work a doorknob. Let's hope it stays that way." Number 4, Peekaboo. Originally published by 3AMR, this is not the hide and seek you signed up for. The video shows a couple of guys wandering through an abandoned structure. It's not clear what they're looking for until they find it. Between two cement walls, a creature peeks, its eyes glowing, its face skull-like. The creepy figure is there for just a moment before it quietly disappears behind one of the cement walls. Was this what these guys were looking for? If it was, I'm sure they would regret everything. Number 3, Poltergeist Sleepover. Seek and ye shall find. Published by Seeker of Ghosts. This ghost hunter gets zero sleep during his night in this scary and mysterious haunted apartment. Communicating through light and noise sensors, the spirit reveals itself straight away. Soon after, the door to the outside, which was wide open, swings slightly closer but remains ajar. Although this could be explained by a draft, let's see if the spirit interacts further. While exploring the home a bit more, the man enters the toilet and then a loud noise is heard.
Просто туалет здесь.
It's not clear from where. He scans the ceiling but can't find the source. As he's setting up a tripod to capture any activity in the room, activity occurs right behind him. It sounds like a piece of metal is being clanged against something.
Сейчас возьму телефон и хочу походить.
He leaves the room, letting the tripod sit there, but soon the camera is moving on its own. It appears as though the spirit is knocking against it. Later, as he is wandering around the home again, he asks the spirit to give a sign, and the spirit answers in kind. A clanking against the floor is heard. In the next room, you can see what the clanking is. A chair next to the desk leans back for a moment before the front legs land on the floor. The camera on the tripod moves again slightly. A little later, that same chair falls over and a wooden stick is thrown from behind the camera. The ghost hunter hears it from the next room and attempts to open the door, but it seems to be jammed. He finally gets it open. Later, as he attempts to get some shut-eye in this haunted home, the spirit goes crazy. A loud noise is heard, followed by a noise like something is trying to get out of a closet or a cupboard. He awakes and hears more banging. Then he gets up to look for the source of the sound, but again cannot find it. When he tries to go back to sleep, the noises are heard again. Even scarier, a faucet is turned on. You can hear the sound of rushing water. After a sleepless night, the ghost hunter can draw one conclusion. There is a poltergeist in this house, and it doesn't want him to be there. Number 2, 1970s mystery. When responding to an old friend's scary story about how he may have been an accomplice in a 1970 life-taking, the Paranormies team ended up in an abandoned town of Piney, where they dug deeper to find out the truth. They published their findings in May of 2021, entering an abandoned room of what we assume is this site of the alleged life-taking. The team hears something jiggling. It seems to be coming from the door.
Dude.
The key is moving in the lock and continues as they approach it.
Hang on. Dude, what the fuck is that?
And it just stops.
They look around the corner to see if there's something behind the door, and the jiggling stops instantly. Later, as they're trying to communicate with spirits in the vicinity, it sounds like a creepy disembodied voice says, "Mommy," although the guys don't seem to hear it or make note of it in the video. While they continue trying to speak to the spirit and ask if bad things like life takings happened here, a bang is heard in the entrance of the home. Shortly after, 3 strange noises happen in a row, what sounds like a dog or a wolf howling, a click, and then some rustling.
Is your name Dennis?
They hear a noise in the other room and capture a creepy shadow on the wall. The shadow is very distinctly a figure. When they shine their flashlight there, it disappears. Another noise is heard, and they think it's the spirit of Dennis. They search the home and ask Dennis to make another noise if he's here. He does.
Dennis, if you're in here, make another noise.
Continuing their search, they hear a bang on the roof.
Yep. Oh my.
Dennis is getting louder and more formidable. They entered a room where they saw something standing in the doorway, but noticed it for only a split second.
There was something standing here, right?
What's that?
You saw it too?
Yeah.
Something was standing right
It
here.
looked like something was standing right here.
In another room, they hear distinct footsteps upstairs.
Like she was saying, he's so emotional.
That's footsteps.
They go upstairs to investigate, and then it seems the spirit has moved downstairs.
Whoa.
Hear that?
Footsteps again. They shout to the spirit to make a loud noise if it's Dennis. The bells go off. As the bells continue to ring, the spirit box says Ryan, which is one of the investigators' middle names.
They're still moving. They're still moving. Ryan, that's my middle name.
It said your middle name?
It said my middle name. Look, the bells are still moving.
They hold the EMF meter to the bells and for a moment it spikes. Then the spirit box says Emily.
Emily.
Emily?
Emily.
They also hold the EMF meter up to an old abandoned shoe. Again, the meter spikes. They note that the spirit box says kicked when they saw the shoe earlier. With a Ouija board set out later, a glass breaks loudly in the next room.
Out of here.
Holy.
When they hear another noise, they ask if it's Dennis, and he responds in kind. Then, for the finale, something falls, glass breaks, everything breaks.
Oh, dude, get out.
The boys rush out of there as John says it sounds like everything is falling apart. Even as they reach their car, you can still hear glass breaking in the house behind them.
Oh, man.
It's time to leave Dennis and the mysterious life-taking that happened here to its own end. I wouldn't go back to that house ever again. I've got a challenge for you. Since you've made it this far, why not like this video and hit subscribe in the next 5 seconds? Because I upload 4 new scary videos every week. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. Number 1. Mud Volcano. The natural world offers some amazing phenomena. Colombia is home to several active volcanoes, including a couple of what are known as mud volcanoes, also known as mud domes. These formations are not true volcanoes by definition, as they do not produce lava and are not always created or active as a result of magmatic activity. They have produced mounds which visually resemble volcanoes, however. With mud spewing out from the stack, the town of Arboltes, located in the northwest of the country, has one of these occurrences, albeit bearing a resemblance of a large pond or even a tar pit. Residents were alarmed when another eruption-like event began just before Christmas 2019. As the video shows, several massive bubbles break the surface, disrupting the top layer. While understandably anxious over the developments, experts declared there was nothing to be afraid of. The dome was simply releasing gas built up in its depths, not at a rate to be alarmed about. According to readings, it was methane gas being emitted as a result of recent seismic activity, so it's good to hear these residents have nothing to worry about. But I imagine seeing this without that information would be quite terrifying, to say the least. What are you afraid of? From shadow people to demon stalkers, these top 10 scary videos will even scare the devil.